Welcome to the Fantasy Football Brothers. Let's meet your host. From the cold and harsh distant land of Mother Russia, lover of romantic walks from his bed to his couch, Boris Wagner. From the sunshine state of California, lover of barbershops and sleeping in, Richard Wagner. Thank you for joining the Fantasy Football Brothers for another episode.
Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Football Brothers. My name is Richard Wagner.
And I am Boris Wagner.
And we're so excited to be back with you guys today. It's been an awesome morning. We're not going to sit here and lie.
Yeah, it's been really hard. I quit smoking, so I feel like girls would be when they're on their period, just hurting and just cussing. Like my girlfriend just cusses at me and just hurts my feelings.
And
all the
then
time.
not only that, but it was coupled with we recorded this episode, and then when we went to go edit it, there was no episode.
Yeah, we love that. No, we totally love to re-record episodes over and over.
Fun fact, it's happened a lot. A lot of our first episodes were re-recorded many times. But that's just the cost of doing business. So if you guys do enjoy these episodes, please do leave us a like, hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, leave us a comment. It really does help us out and keeps us motivated and inspired to keep going.
Yeah,
to do more
I
of
was
these.
just about to go to sleep and cry, but Richard said, "You know what? Don't do it for yourself. Do it for you guys."
Yep.
So, here I am.
Yeah, we have an eventful episode planned for you guys. We got some news. We're doing this new thing where we're going to be saying our division winners, who we think is going to win the divisions, and our top 10 quarterback rankings. It's going to be a fun one. Going to be a good one. So let's get into some news.
News.
David Montgomery strained his groin. Doesn't look serious, but could potentially be something. I was already off of David Montgomery, but now he is just like, I literally cut up my draft board thing, my draft players, and cut them out and threw them in the trash can.
Wow.
I will never draft him. Actually, that's a lie. Technically, I would. If he fell to value and I had no running backs, I would. Or if he was my fourth running back. But
no, I can see that.
Who are you grabbing, Boris?
It was his rookie year last year. I don't know. He ran close to probably 300 attempts. He's the only guy, right? And he gets a lot of the red zone attempts. He's just, I think his yards per carry was just really, really bad. That system I don't like. And if he really, really is injured, it's hard to like anyone in that system, honestly. I feel like David Montgomery is the best of the best if there was anybody to like in that system already.
Yeah, other than Tariq Cohen.
Yeah.
But you can't really pick up Tariq Cohen. If you drafted him, good on you. If Montgomery misses time, Cohen definitely moves up pretty high.
Which I don't really think Montgomery will miss any time. It's just a strained groin, and I feel like it's just week to week, and hopefully he's back in the first week.
Yeah, Sony Michel back at practice, not on the pup no more. It's looking good for me.
Roof.
He did. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he did get 250 carries last year.
I think it was 246.
47, but I just rounded up for you guys.
Hey, who's counting?
250. Who's counting? Carries last year. They picked up Lamar Miller, but then he got on the pulp right away.
Yeah, that was just so what the heck
that
was
backfield has a lot of players. Harris was doing really good. But there was some talks about Burkhead. That backfield has a lot of running backs, but in my eyes, I think Michel is their number one guy. Going to get 12, 15 carries a week, and James White's going to be their third down dude. What do you think about that?
I actually believe in Damian Harris. I think they drafted him, to play, to develop him and become their guy. Especially with they've tried Michel, and his yards per carry also is pretty bad, and he just hasn't shown us he's this amazing guy as opposed to Damian. I've heard since Michel has been out that he's had a pretty good camp. So I think it's his backfield to lose. And there's also just, I could easily see, Burkhead having one good game, Michel having a good game, Damian having having a good game, good tongue twisters. Yeah, but the guy that I really, really like in that backfield is James White. I think he's the most, he's the safest play. He's been really good for me the last 2 years, and yeah, I think Cam Newton loves to throw to the catch to a running back that can catch a ball, like our CMC.
Even though, shout out fantasy footballers.
Yeah.
I was listening to their episode today. Cam Newton is one of the actual most inaccurate and worst throwers to the running back.
Really?
He overthrows, I think, 13% of his balls to them. And he ranked very, very low.
Okay. Well, I didn't say that he's going to have a lot of receptions. I say he'll get a lot of targets.
Right. But targets don't mean anything.
Targets mean some when you can be like,
receptions.
yo, bro, look, this guy got 600 targets. Okay.
Yeah. But I do like James White in that offense. I'm just saying Cam Newton isn't one of the best. We have this idea of him that really isn't accurate.
Bill Belichick will handle business. He said, listen, your 13% got to go down at least to 6.5.
Or Stidham's coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not Stidham.
Sit down, Stidham.
I just realized, what does your side of your mic have like a special gummy bear in there? Like, what's up with the whole side of mic action there?
I don't know, just because yours is a little different. Mine like doesn't really rearrange itself that well.
Got you.
So this is the way I wear out.
Yeah. Hey, whatever floats your boat.
Thanks, boo.
Chris Carson back at practice, gone due to personal reasons.
Where do you think he went?
He was at a funeral.
Damn.
We're not making any jokes about that one. But we were talking about the first time we recorded this episode, how pretty much if Chris Carson's one of my favorite dudes to target in that 3rd, 4th, 5th round range. If we knew like his only thing that's hindering him is his injury.
Some fumbles here and there, but I feel like even with the fumbles, he still plays.
Like if he wasn't injured, in my eyes, he would be an early 2nd round pick. He'd be in the conversation with Nick Chubb up there.
You do have pretty eyes, by the way.
Thank you. I think, he gets over 25 carries a game, 20 carries a game, mostly every game. That's just the kind of offense that they're running in Seattle. So if he can stay healthy, man, if you picked him up in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, you really got a good, solid running back one. Paris Campbell got into a car accident and in concussion protocol. Hopefully, he's doing well and healthy.
Right. And, right. What does that mean to your boy?
Yeah, I think that just solidifies Michael Pittman in the number 2 spot. If Paris Campbell is missing time, I know they're battling out there. I believe in Pittman. He was the higher draft pick. Campbell was there last year.
No, he wasn't.
Where was he?
Paris Campbell. The problem, he was a pretty high.
He was
pick.
injured, right?
Yeah, and then he got injured in the beginning of the season. He didn't play at all. So.
Right. That's my bad. So yeah, I like Pittman a lot more. But we'll see what happens.
I definitely like Campbell more, but
Right. AJ Green practicing. Boris lied to you guys. We found out yesterday.
Yeah, I thought that he practiced yesterday, but today was his first practice. There's no news that he had any setbacks, which is nice because I drafted him in a couple of leagues.
Nice.
I think his upside is tremendous, especially with Burrow. Burrow liked to throw the ball. AJ Green liked to catch the ball. AJ Green has been a top, 4 or 5 dude for like 3, 4 years in his career. If he's playing, he's gonna eat. If just chill on getting injured.
I could just see all the Tyler Boyd owners just looking at AJ Green like, you break your leg.
Yeah, bro. Oh my God, he fell.
Fell.
Ah, damn, he stood up.
Yeah, and probably the biggest news other than maybe the Montgomery thing, Le'Veon Bell. Man, was I happy when I heard this. Le'Veon Bell not happy with practice. Coach claims Bell hurt his hamstring. Bell said he didn't. Adam Gase is letting Frank Gore, the old 70-year-old running back, run a lot. More plays and snaps than Bell wants of Frank Gore. Frustration all around for fantasy and this team.
Boo. You know when they talked about, that bell to salivate, like if you hear a bell, you want to salivate.
That's why
Pavlov's theory. So it's like this. Like every time I hear Bell, right, I want to feel good. And he's sexy. He got the moves. He's fast. He's talented. But then after I eat I hear that bell. I'm like disgusted because there's Gase right next to the bell.
Dude,
man.
that's why you just gotta fade.
I can't.
I see what you're doing there. That was
That was decent.
that was decent.
That was decent.
That's why you just gotta fade anyone that Adam Gase plays for. Just literally cut him out. Like, don't ever
but
pick them.
I don't wanna fit him.
I mean, I was trying to tell you, man. That's the problem with sure, the guy like that they were
I just
pretty
think
much
his upside's like his upside is like pretty good. Like he's done it before. Yeah, the O-line has been amazing in Pittsburgh and the O-line is trash here. But I get that plays a lot to it. But I just think that he's very, very talented. And he, if given the opportunity, that's why he's so low in the draft. Like, yeah, if we knew there was no Gase there and his O-line was a little better, he would never be there.
right. And I'm saying we know that there's Gase there and we know about their O-line. So
and
let's
that's why
make
I'm going to pick it
educated
anyways,
decisions.
boo-boo. I'm going to pick it anyways.
It's like drafting. You're like pretty much drafting a Montgomery. Like it doesn't.
No way.
I'm
This
saying
guy's proven himself.
I'm saying
bro.
it doesn't matter if the running back is getting 250 plus carries, right? If their team is trash and those carries result for nothing.
Right, but let me tell you something.
Like he can literally
I agree.
he can literally go like 21, 22 carries and get like 7 points that week.
For sure. Potentially.
No, not
But
potentially.
no, I don't
That's
see
very,
that because he's getting at least like 2, 3, 4 balls thrown at him.
sure 21
Not
carries, 2. You just said 2, 3, 4.
No, I'm saying more like 3.
Dude, come on.
Yeah. So
Sure,
I
he
think
gets
he's
you
getting
10
like 10
points. That's horrible.
You think 10 points is bad?
Yeah, that's like what Montgomery's gonna get you.
But
You
I'm
want
saying
Montgomery?
wait. 10 wait, you counted 10. But he didn't get any yards with the receptions.
Nice, bro.
Wait, what's up? Wait,
We're
let me
just
just
gonna keep tweaking
that bell. Let me just say something about my belly, okay? One thing. Iverson didn't like to practice,
Yeah.
right? He was like, practice. Bell's saying, put me in,
And
coach.
what kind of
to
numbers did
practice.
Iverson put up?
All right?
What kind of numbers did Iverson put up?
What kind of numbers did Bell put up?
Iverson put up more.
In what sense?
If we did the math,
If we did the math, carry the 2, added the 1.
divide
Okay.
by 7.
All right.
Well, that was our news. And let's get into this new segment we're doing. We're gonna do a little bit about actual football, a little bit less fantasy, but we'll talk about fantasy in this one. We're gonna pick our division winners in the NFL, who we think which team's gonna win each division. Starting off in the AFC, we got the East Division. We got Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, Patriots, Jets. Jets and Dolphins, speaking of the Jets, are out of the equation probably. Picking between two.
I don't know, Fitzmagic.
Yeah, I think Miami can potentially upset, not with Fitzpatrick, with Tua. If Tua comes in and is just a monster.
Right, for sure.
But most likely not. But I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills here. I think the Patriots, a lot of their players opted out. So many new changes. Buffalo Bills coming back. They almost did it last year. They almost won it. So
for sure.
I think they have a good shot this year.
I mean, a lot of people for sure would think there's a huge upgrade with Diggs. I'm just not crazy about that team, man. I'm not crazy about the quarterback. I'm not crazy about their whole scheme. I don't, the quarterback can't even, he's not even an accurate passer. As opposed to New England, man, I feel like I can never count them off. Yes, they've lost a lot of defensive players, safeties, players. I think in the O-line, was it O-line or just defensive players? I'm not quite.
Both,
right. But I just can never count them out. I feel like if Belichick needs, he can just call someone out, like sitting on a bench, watching some TV. You know what I'm saying? Like any random person, he'll bring them in the system. He'll be fine if they need it. And plus, Cam Newton is an underrated beast. If he's starting, I feel like he can scramble and create wins in a Belichick system. So I really like that.
Yeah, I think it's just going to take a lot it's going to take a lot of things going their way to get into it. The next division, we got a pretty easy one. Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers. It's pretty easy. Broncos all day, baby. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, us living in Colorado and near Denver. That's his squad. I feel like he'd want them to win, but it's just like, come on, it's Kansas City Chiefs. It's so hard to go against
but
them.
honestly, because we play fantasy, I'd probably not want them to win because if they win, that means their fantasy options are doing well. You got Sutton, Judy, Melvin Gordon.
And you don't have any of those players.
Drew Lock, and I have none of those.
Right, me
so
too.
hopefully they ain't doing too well. But Kansas City
sure.
Chiefs, hopefully they're doing well because I got Mahomes, I got Kelsey, I got Clyde. I want all of that, baby. Kansas City Chiefs. Next division, we got the Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers. I think most people will go Ravens here, but I think Pittsburgh Steelers can do it if Roethlisberger stays healthy, if James Conner stays healthy, Juju takes that next leap, Deontay Johnson maybe helps him out. I think it's going to be closer than people think.
Someone actually just dropped Deontay Johnson in a league that I'm in because he's missed like the last like 6 practices.
Right.
So I mean that's probably another thing we should have talked about.
Wow, that's an easy ad.
That's an easy ad to pick him up, right? I mean, honestly, I still look at him as a question mark because it could still be James.
Of course he's
James Washington.
No, whoa. No, I look at him as a question mark for the first spot, like even ahead of Juju.
Why do you like him so much? I never understood it.
James
James Washington,
last year.
But last year James Washington had a good year too.
Not as good as Deontay. I'm serious.
I don't think so.
Deontay was their number 1 wide receiver last year.
I think James Washington was fairly close. I think he led in some categories. I'm telling you, he led in some categories.
See. Watch.
Like I said, I don't know, and plus he did this all without Ben. Who knows who Ben is gonna trust? I just don't know in that system. I do like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think every single year when you count them out, they're there. It's always between Baltimore and Steelers. I just think the Ravens are gonna have a step forward. With Lamar, they want to win. They have a lot of juicy prospects with Dobbins. I'm just going to have to go with them.
I mean, Deontay Johnson finished the year with 26 points, 11 points, 22 points, 10 points.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Right. And, yeah, James Washington last year, he had 2 games. He had 3 games. 3 games where he beasted. Deontay Johnson had, I would say, like a good 5.
Okay. So I don't think the disparity is that much.
I think Deontay Johnson, if they're all healthy, even potentially could be their number 1 ahead of Juju. I think Juju even has question marks himself if he is their number 1.
I don't think so.
In my eyes. But I think Ravens will probably win it because ain't no way both Ben and Connor are staying healthy. In the South Division, we got the Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans. That one is pretty close with the Jags being out. 3 really good teams. But I'm gonna go with the Colts here. I think Phillip Rivers revamps that team. I think they have the weapons to do it, especially with their new running back toy, their new wide receiver toy,
boy toy.
I like that team a lot.
Yeah, man. I don't doubt it. And Phillip Rivers, maybe now with an actual good O-line, can do it. I mean, he's never had a good line in his whole career. Tennessee, I'm just going with Tennessee Titans. I think nothing has changed since last year. And Derrick Henry probably has a couple of years to get a cup. So I think he's gonna push hard to win, and I hope they do well, man.
Yeah, they're probably favorite now with Texans losing Hopkins.
Right.
And now on to the NFC. We got the East Division, Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles, Redskins. Between the Cowboys and Eagles, I'm going to go with the Cowboys. The first time we recorded this episode, I went with the Eagles and then talked myself into the Cowboys. Great O-line, great running back, great wide receiver core, great quarterback, better defense than the Eagles. I don't know what the hell's been up with them their past years. They have all the pieces. I guess their coaching has been trash.
That's literally what I said last episode, which is totally fine for you to take my stuff.
No, you didn't.
Like, clearly I did.
No, you
and
didn't.
They're going to know based on me just saying it.
They won't know, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I'm definitely going to go with Dallas Cowboys. I got Cooper in like every single league. I believe in that system. I believe Prescott wants to get that contract. I think if it's not this year, Jesus Christ.
If it's not this year, Prescott's being fired.
Yeah.
The coach's being fired.
If they have a
the
bad
wide
year,
receivers being fired.
Yeah.
What if they go like 2-14 and the Redskins win the division?
Then every one of those teams other than the Redskins, all their teams, all the coaches in that divisions are all getting fired.
Oh, wait, they're not the Redskins anymore. Sorry, the Washington football team.
Yeah, that's messed up, bro.
My bad.
Washington football team. If Washington football team do it, that's really good for the energy of everything. Like, you change your team.
Right.
Karma's good. You win. That
would be good. That'd be good for like society.
That's what I'm saying.
The West Division, we got probably the hardest division here. Arizona Cardinals, LA Rams, San Francisco 49ers, Seattle Seahawks. A lot of people would go 49ers. They went to the Super Bowl last year, but I'm a little iffy on them. I don't really like their offense. I think they got very lucky with the way that they were able to run the ball. They definitely have a really good coach, and I think they may be able to continue it, but they went from worst to last in 1 year with one amazing rookie pick for their defense. Their wide receiver core is deplenished. No, what is it? Depreciated? No, whatever. Their wide receiver core is null. They have running backs who did really good last year.
You talking about Pettis, boo-boo?
Pettis is their best wide receiver.
Hey, Pettis and Bourne. Listen, Pettis is born again.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is his chance to get out the doghouse.
Yeah.
Come into the house.
Yeah.
And start, watching football with us.
Right.
And then a lot of,
So this is like his chance to become a mouse. He was a rat, but
right.
now he's
he
a mouse.
was outside the house, in the doghouse, came out the house, walked in another house.
So
it's a bigger house.
So he was a dog, became a rat because he came out of the doghouse, and then walked into the house, became a mouse.
Right. So it's deep stuff right there. I like my babies. I like my Ramses. I think they got the squad. I think they almost won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They still have an amazing defense. Aaron Donald ain't going nowhere. Add him to your leagues if you're playing with some defensive players. If you're playing with IDPs, I just think that squad has it. If Goff can take some steps forward, doesn't have a lot of those turnovers, is not like panicky in the pocket, I think they can go pretty far, man.
Yeah, I would. Most people, if you don't pick 49ers, they'd probably pick the Seahawks. Russell Wilson being a great game manager and quarterback.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see Seahawks for sure.
But I'm gonna go with another upset here, just like the LA Rams. Arizona Cardinals. They drafted Isaiah Simmons, a beast addition to their defense.
Nice.
They drafted they traded for DeAndre Hopkins, a top 5 wide receiver, to help Kyler Murray, who's going in their second year. I think that team can make strides this year. They picked up Kenyon Drake.
I thought you don't like Kenyon Drake.
I don't like him for fantasy, but him and Chase Edmonds as a duo could be really, really good for that team.
Right, for sure. They have a squad.
Right. They have a squad. I think they can do it. Most likely, though, it'll probably be 49ers and Seahawks, and we'll be laughing. But hopefully one of those teams upsets them. Because 49ers are boring to watch, and Seattle Seahawks are
It's
fun
like
to watch,
Kittle. Wait. Kittle. Mostert. Kittle.
The North Division, we got the Bears, Lions, Packers, Vikings. Probably between the Packers and the Vikings. I'm going to go with Vikings. I think their run game is insane. Dalvin Cook's a beast. Thielen's awesome. I don't even think they needed Diggs, but they picked up Justin Jefferson. He's going to be awesome. Kirk Cousins, great game manager. I think it's close between them and Packers. I just like Vikings a little bit more. Green Bay got a little lucky last year with how many close games they won. Who you getting?
I hear you, boo-boo. I like what you're saying, but I don't really like, I'm not really caring.
It's going in and out?
Yeah. I like Green Bay, man. I think that they have the same system. It's 1 year removed from that system, getting better. They have the same players, and they got Mr. Cavs looking sexy. I just like them. I don't think they have to, be insane in that division. I think if they continue to play well and get better, and Lazard maybe steps up, I really do like him this year. And
yeah, I heard he's doing pretty good.
My homeboy in Aaron Rodgers, I heard he broke up with his girl.
Yeah?
So he's probably heated, mad, upset. He probably hates love. And, he's going to put the work in.
Ooh, that'd be a good bumper sticker. Love, hate. Or hate, love.
Hate, love.
For Green Bay, that'd be a good one. No, please don't do that. South Division and our final division, we have the Falcons, Panthers, Saints, Buccaneers. I think this is also a really, really close one. If the Falcons don't do good this year, that whole team's getting fired. I didn't say it. Damn. That whole team's getting fired. I don't understand what's going on. They have one of the best superstars in Julio Jones, one of the best quarterbacks in Matt Ryan. They got Todd Gurley this year, so if he's healthy,
everybody's like,
Calvin Ridley's a monster.
Ridley, I need to pick Ridley.
I mean, I think definitely I could see Calvin Ridley being a wide receiver 1 this year easily.
And I can definitely see him, taking a vacation, coming over to my house and us drinking a beer.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
But I was definitely way low on Calvin Ridley than I should have been.
For sure. I can see it. This is the most vacated targets on that system. Something about Calvin Ridley just don't give me that
Right, he was
excited,
just
man.
a first-round
No,
draft
bro.
pick, 1,000 yards last year on the
For
highest
sure, and
passing offense.
and most of those yards came on versus the divisions.
Oh, because he's in a different division now.
No, he's in the same divisions. It's like 4 games that he did beast. So
Right.
whatevs.
Nice. So he showed that he can do it. He got over 1,000
Versus
yards.
horrible
He was
defenses.
a
yes.
first-round pick. He was a freaking on the highest passing offense. He has Julio Jones to take away those double teams from him. I mean, he's definitely poised to have a big year here. I can see him being.
Believe me, I said all this stuff. I like him.
He can literally have a what's his name?
What is his
Chris
name?
Godwin season.
I don't see it at all.
How? He's
Because-
projected there.
Because Julio Jones is not Mike Evans. Julio Jones is the clear, like, give me the ball every single time back.
So was Mike Evans.
They've been
coming into the season.
I'll tell you the difference.
Oh
I'll tell you
my
I'll tell you the
God.
difference. One guy played with the same quarterback his whole franchise.
Uh-huh.
Another guy didn't.
Uh-huh.
He's had so many different quarterbacks.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense?
Jameis Winston played there the year before.
Right. I'm
Right.
saying most of his career.
I'm saying, but that coming into that year,
Yeah.
there was no way that Chris Godwin could have ever overtaken Mike Evans or ever become the wide receiver one.
No, Mike Evans was also injured a lot of the
But
times
Mike
last
Evans
year.
was the wide receiver one on that team, and there was no thought about it. And
I know.
Chris Godwin
I'm just saying
got
I
there.
don't see it with the Julio Jones and Matt Ryan are besties and besties. Julio Jones is way better
but
than Mike
nobody's
Evans.
saying Calvin Ridley even needs to overtake Julio Jones to be a wide receiver one. He could be a wide receiver one and Julio Jones be a wide receiver
For
one.
sure.
They're the most high passing offense. Like it's literally, he might even be going low for whereas he's probably the biggest one for a third year player to hit that.
So he's the biggest steal?
He's probably the
for where
biggest.
he's
He's
at?
one of the biggest dealers in the draft. He's a first round draft
Where's
pick.
he going?
I think he's going like in the end of the fourth, early in the fifth. I mean, he's a first-round draft pick who hit over 1,000 yards, hit 10 touchdowns in his rookie year. He gets thrown in the red zone.
That's saying he's going in the fourth. Ridley or Woods.
That's what I'm saying. You probably should be going Ridley there. The
So are you going?
upside there is Ridley.
Not probably should you be going? Where are you going?
I'm saying currently,
Right now, after thinking all these thoughts.
I'm saying that optimally,
Yeah.
it's Calvin Ridley.
So you go Ridley over Woods.
Right. I'm saying for me, I probably still go Woods.
Why?
Because I just think that the percentage of Ridley hitting there isn't like as high as what it I think the reality of him hitting it, that percentage is very high.
Okay.
But me personally, I don't think it is as high, if that makes any sense.
Got it. No,
Like
that's some science right there.
The actual reality, he's going to hit it, is like, I would say 80%.
You're just biased.
But yeah, me being biased, I think it's
Got
like
it.
it's like 50%, 60%.
Got it.
But in reality, I mean, dude, like all the signs are pointing this guy to have like 1,310 touchdowns with like 80 receptions, 70 receptions. But in this division, I'm going with the Saints. I think they have they have the same squad. They have beasts on that squad. Great defense, great O-line, great quarterback, great wide receivers. And Tampa Bay would probably be the other team, but they're just new.
Right. I think it's just about, geezer versus geezer, 40-year-old versus 41-year-old. Someone has to win. If one guy's 40, the other guy's 41, But in this case, I think the younger champ, Mr. Drew Brees, is going to take it down. I think he's also in like his last year of his contract. I think he wants to beat a lot of the Brady's records. It's just both of them battling for records, man. I just think that with the same system that he's had for many years now, with Michael Thomas, it's hard to imagine Tampa Bay winning that division. So
yeah, and that was our division winners. And let's get into our top 10 quarterback rankings. Calvin Ridley.
Quarterback rankings.
So for our first consensus quarterback ranking, Patrick Mahomes, we both got him as 1. He finished as the quarterback 8th last year. But oh my God, he is the $500 million or $500 million man. Won the NFL MVP in 2018 and followed that up with winning the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl MVP in 2019. He didn't have a great year last year. He was injured, had an ankle injury. Missed 2 games. Tyreek Hill was injured at the beginning, but still he averaged 23.4 fantasy points per game and had 6 games with at least 25 points. All of his wide receivers coming back, and they drafted Kyle Zeller, a pass-catching back in the first round, the first running back off the board. Patrick Mahomes said, I want this guy. Pretty much the only debate is who you're grabbing, Mahomes or Lamar. And what do you think, Boris?
I'm thinking Patrick Mahomes is a stud. He set the record for the most fantasy points ever scored in a season by a QB in 2018. As a rookie, he did that. That's just like...
But then it was broken by Lamar last year.
Right. He's the first quarterback to achieve 50 TDs, 5,097 yards, 66 completion rate while holding a passing rating of 113.8. He's completed 65% of his passes in the red zone, scoring 35 TDs to 1 interception in 2018. Inside the 10, he's 57%. He has a 57% completion rate, 20 TDs to 0 interceptions. I mean, he's like not real, man. He's like a robot. Every time he has the ball in his hand, every time he like scrambles, you think he's never gonna make that pass, and he does it every year. And last year, I just think it was even though he had an amazing year and he was like he still finished top 10 with Tyreek Hill, he was just not the same after his second injury, coming back after his first injury, after Mahomes came back. So I think that last year was just an off year, and I think he's only going to get better in that offense, and he just got that deal, like you said. It's just hard to go against the man.
Yeah, to me, I think the fantasy community is taking Lamar over Mahomes. To me, I would rather have Mahomes only because I feel like Lamar's ability to do what he did last year is way easier to be stopped. I think teams can figure out and we'll figure out how to maybe not stop his run completely, but definitely keep him from getting those crazy runs to where, he finished with almost 1,000 yards, or actually finishing more than 1,000 yards, 1,200 yards last year on only 176 attempts. I think that's going to go way, way down. I think I'd rather have the guy who is athletically just a monster in Mahomes, who can make any throw on the field, than Lamar, who, although, yes, he is athletically just as gifted in terms of running. Running is probably easier to stop than throwing, and Lamar has a way worse arm. And Mahomes also runs. Like, Mahomes is sneaky, but he has because he has rushing a floor as well. I think a lot of people, don't really think about that. But if you want to go Lamar over Mahomes, I wouldn't hate you, because although Patrick Mahomes set the record for the most fantasy points in 2018, that record was beat by Lamar Jackson, who broke it the next year. And that was his first year as a starter. He's the consensus ranking number 2. We both have him as 2, and he finished as the number 1 last year.
I can't stop yawning.
Can't stop yawning, but...
Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. They did pick up, they did draft J.K. Dobbins also, just like their counterpart, Kansas City. Another beast running back in the second round, who is a monster. And they also picked up another slot receiver, Devin Duvernay, in this offseason. And they just
got Calais Campbell, man.
Yep, and another...
That should help their defense, because they, of course, they didn't even need... it's like they didn't even... what's the right word? Like, they really needed to upgrade.
Right.
They're such a beast.
The thing is that the Baltimore Ravens also have one of the easiest strength of schedules this year. So what I think that's going to mean is that Lamar is going to have to run way less, try way less. I think J.K. Dobbins is going to eat because of that. I think in most fourth, third quarters, just like last year, Lamar will be sitting out some of them and not even playing. That's just how good their team is. But
he was 6th in overall rushing yards in the NFL, including all running backs, with 1,206 yards on only 176 attempts with 7 TDs. Yikes, bro. He's just a beast. Yeah, he might not have to run as much, but I still think he can always go there. He can always, run if he needs to, which is nice. And if he just continues to develop his pass, which his completion rate and efficiency last year was through the roof. He threw for 36 touchdowns on just 401 attempts, giving him a touchdown rate of 9%. Only one other time in history of the NFL has a quarterback reached the 9% mark, which was Mahomes Peyton Manning. Just to give you reference, which
Mahomes Peyton Manning.
The The guy's a stud. If of course a lot of people don't think he's gonna have this efficiency. If his efficiency is still there, it's hard to imagine him not being the one. Man.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. I just think Mahomes has a way easier percentage of hitting what he did in 2018 than Lamar Jackson
just
has.
safer because he can rely on his arm.
I mean, this guy almost doubled what the previous rushing leader for a quarterback was in Cam Newton. So it definitely is a monster. Yeah, that efficiency number should come down. Just my projections. But our consensus ranking number 3, Dak Prescott. Boris, you have him at 3. I have him at 4. He's actually tied number 3 with Kyler Murray. Finishes the quarterback 2 last year. Gets his top 3 wide receivers back. Weapons back. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and Zeke. And they also draft CeeDee Lamb in the first round. This guy's a beast wide receiver. Jason Witten is gone as a center, Travis Frederick. But they did get Blake Jarwin. They didn't get him, but he might emerge as that new tight end. I know there's a lot of Blake Jarwin truthers out there. And he is a beast. I think last year he went for 203 or something one game.
Yeah.
They bring in a new coach, McCarthy, who was a pass-heavy coach. He was a QB coach before, but they kept their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, so there shouldn't be too much offensive change. And McCarthy was saying that he's the one learning the most in that offense. I think Dak is a very safe guy. Should be getting a lot of receiving yards.
Right.
The only reason I have him as 4 is I think Kyler Murray just has the potential to do what Lamar did. Definitely not what he did, but up there.
Yeah, I could see that. For me, Dak Prescott, from his previous years to last year's, he just killed it, man. He did so much better last year just because, he felt a lot more comfortable in that system. Cooper actually, they had half a year together in that system. They had Gallup. They're getting comfortable with all the wide receivers there, and I think getting CeeDee Lamb now, getting a coach that's wants to run the same system, I think he's gonna eat. And it's a contract year. I know people say, "Oh no, contract year doesn't matter." I think it does, somewhat. And I think he wants to prove that he's an elite quarterback like all the other quarterbacks. He had 4,902 yards, 30 TDs, 65% completion rate. He also rushes, man. He had 552 rushing attempts for almost 300 yards and 3 TDs. 26 points per game he averaged. Cowboys also averaged the most yards in the NFL, 431 yards. They love to throw the ball, and McCarthy technically loves to throw even more, so maybe they potentially will throw more. I don't know. It's hard not to go that route, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely like Dak Prescott and this next guy, Kyler Murray, to where they're going. I think both of them have definitely the shot, and that's why you have to use a 6th-round draft pick on them. But they definitely have the shot to, jump up to that 2nd-round pick next year, maybe 3rd-round pick next year. But all of these 4 guys, I guess I'll say it after the 6th guy. Kyler Murray is the 4th consensus-ranked quarterback. Boris, you have him as 4. I have him at 3.
Yes, sir.
He finished as the quarterback number 7 in his rookie year. Checked in 12th in fantasy points per game. Rushing ability will continue to help after Murray finished 2nd only to Lamar Jackson in yards last season with 550 yards, 5.8 yards per carry, and 4 touchdowns. But he ranked 27th in passing touchdown rate, and Pro Football Focus graded him 25th among starting quarterbacks in passing. So, you might think he's a bad passer, but I think a lot of it had to do with his weapons as well. Not the best, but they made a huge addition, bringing in a top 5 wide receiver in this league in DeAndre Hopkins. I think Kyler Murray's passing touchdowns and efficiency go way up. They also brought in Kenyon Drake, who was beasting at the end of that season there. Definitely an upgrade from David Johnson, who's not looking too well. But Boris, I won't say too many mean things because I know you need him to do good. I love Kyler Murray, man. I think this guy has such a good chance. They upgraded in their wide receiver core. This is his 2nd year. He finished as the quarterback 7 in his rookie year. So honestly, it can only go up from here. The 7 is his floor, and anything up is literally his ceiling. And with the addition of Hopkins and another year, and that coach is pretty much kind of fighting for his. No, I don't know if I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna write that I messed up.
I don't know. He's a king, so I don't know if a king ever has to fight for his. I guess Rome, got depleted. And they didn't think they would, but so someone could try to kill him and take the crown.
So Boris, why do you have him at number 4?
I mean, last year he had almost 4,000 yards, 20 TDs, 12 interceptions on 64% passing rate. So he did pretty well. Knowingly, his wide receiver Fitzgerald is pretty old. What's the other guy's name? I'm just gonna be like, what's the guy's name every single time? Literally can't remember his name every single time.
Oh, that guy. Oh, Christian Kirk.
Christian Kirk he actually started doing well with him, and then he got injured. So he was injured throughout the year. So I mean, he didn't have. Though I like the core, I like the wide receiver core. I like it a lot more than I did last year for Houston, other than Hopkins. I just think there was a lot of inconsistency there for a quarterback. If a quarterback needs a lot of consistencies to get good, and I think having Hopkins there, he will get that with a team that's just trash on the defense, trash on with the O-line. They're going to have to throw the ball. He was also sacked the most out of any player last year. I don't know about the most, but he definitely sacked like insane amount.
Yeah, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he was the third most fantasy points by a rookie ever, just behind Cam Newton and Robert Griffin III.
That tells a lot.
And they're going to need to pass a lot. Like, horrible O-line, horrible defense, even though I picked them in the division to win their division. But he's going to have to be passing. He's going to have to be making plays, having to rush away from that horrible O-line play. So, like I said, I like both these guys where they're going. Our consensus ranking, number 5, Drew Brees. Boris, you have him at 5. I have him at 7. This is probably one of our favorite quarterbacks to target after those first 6.
Oh, yeah. Have him in like 3-4 leagues.
Yeah, finished as the number 22 quarterback because he was injured. Drew Brees had a great statistical season even with the injuries, despite missing 5 games for a hand-thumb torn ligament. The Hall of Fame quarterback threw for 3,000 yards and 27 touchdowns on a 74.3 completion percentage rate.
74%.
11 games translated to 274 fantasy points and an average of 21 points per game. They added Emmanuel Sanders, upgraded that receiver core that didn't really have anyone behind Michael Thomas last year. Alvin Kamara's healthier. He went 9 straight games without finding the end zone in 2019. And Drew Brees holds 4 out of the top 6 single-season passing records.
He wants to get those all 6.
And his second is 1 yard away from Peyton. Drew Brees is a monster. It's kind of surprising to me that he goes 2-3 rounds after Wilson and Deshaun Watson when he had such a great year last year. But like I said, Drew Brees is one of the better quarterbacks to target. Those top 6 to me, we'll get into Watson and Wilson a little later, but I just would rather take a skill position player there because, as we'll see, when we get into our 10th, 9th quarterback, you can grab those guys super late, and they have a potential to be a top 3, top 4 quarterback. But, Boris, why do you have him high up as number 5?
I definitely agree. I also think, it's hard. I mean, there's so many quarterbacks at the end, if you're drafting, but I also think Drew Brees is a steal because he could finish number 1. I mean, he can't. He's that good. I mean, last year, his red zone efficiency, he was 70% completion rate in the red zone. So he's pretty much getting TDs all day. He also has one of the most easiest schedules. I mean, they play Panthers, they play the Falcons, they play the Raiders, the Lions. They have a pretty easy schedule versus their division and non-divisions. And he's only missed 3 games his whole career other than last year. So he's pretty reliable. They got Emmanuel Sanders, who's been doing pretty good in the camp. They have Cook, who displayed pretty great numbers last year. I think with their weapons, with Drew Brees wanting to finish his last years beautifully, and even with those stupid comments that he made about the flag, he wants to be like, no, I'm sorry, I'm going to win us a title. So I think it's his year, man. I really think they're going to do really well.
It's crazy how, things
change.
Things get hyped up so much. Like, everyone was like, he's not throwing Michael Thomas the ball. Right. And then, a month later, they're still completely forgotten. But our consensus ranking number 6, Russell Wilson. You have him at 7. I have him at 6. Finished as the number 4 quarterback last year. He's finished as a top 8 fantasy quarterback in 5 of his past 6 seasons with at least 8 20-plus point fantasy games in each. Thrown for at least 31 touchdowns for 3 straight years. Receiving core that appears to me among the most dangerous he's ever had, with Tyler Lockett and Metcalf taking that next up, and some Antonio Brown rumors that might happen. But Wilson may have to throw a little more than perhaps his coaching staff would normally like. The Seahawks have a struggling defense, a schedule riddled with offensive firepower, and a run game that may not be as reliable as it once was if Chris Carson, can't stay healthy. Last 2 years, they were top 5 in rushing attempts and bottom of the league in passing attempts, but we might see a change in that a little bit. Even if it doesn't change, Russell Wilson is such a good quarterback that he's going to find a way to get his 35 touchdowns, to get his 3,500 yards. This guy is going to be, 4,000 yards, 3,500, whatever. This guy is going to be a good fantasy quarterback. He's a very safe floor, I would say, but not too much ceiling unless that thing flip-flops and they have way more passing attempts.
Right. Or if he gets close to his best rushing attempt, which was in 2014. It wasn't a while, but 118 rushing attempts for 900 yards. And 5.
Wow, that was a big roundup.
Yeah. He also 5 out of 8 seasons. He's got over 94 rushing attempts. So the guy can run if he needs to run. He's a monster. Last year he also finished with 66% completion rate, 31 TDs, over 4,000 yards, ran the ball 75 times for 342 yards and 3 TDs. So even if when they don't run the ball that much, he's so ridiculously smooth and efficient. Still gets over 4,000 yards, gets 31 touchdowns. Just doesn't need to throw the ball as much. But if they do, if their defense sucks, if they're behind games, we know what he can do. Like, I feel like I've seen so many games where, the first 3 quarters he doesn't do anything, and then the fourth quarter just puts up just insane numbers. And guess what, guys? He's not missed one game his whole career. Yeah. Mr. Literal Reliable.
Yep. And our consensus ranking number 7, Deshaun Watson. Boris, you got him at 8. I got him at 5. This is kind of a bad offseason for him. They lost DeAndre Hopkins, big hit. They acquired Brandon Cooks, though, maybe some replaceable there. But in terms of Will Fuller and Cooks, man, that's an injury-riddled wide receiver core. David Johnson's there now. We'll see how he does.
Man.
Bill O'Brien will no longer be calling their plays, and their offensive coordinator in his second year, Tim Kelly, will be calling them now. So we'll see how that will change for the run-pass ratio. But my projection actually is I like Watson a lot this year. I think the loss of Hopkins might actually help him and improve his fantasy outlook. He might have to run a lot more. He has the capabilities of running. I could see him having like a 500, 600, 650 type rushing yard season, which would help him tremendously. So I like him a lot. I have him as the quarterback 5 this year. I think he can do it. Boris, you have him at the lowest 8. What's up with you?
I like him still, of course. I think he has a lot of upside. I think he's super talented. I think, there's an upgrade in David Johnson, which will, I think, help him because he's a really good ball catcher. Hopefully, if Houston utilizes that threat and uses David Johnson for that, I think, he can get a lot of plays with that. I also think Brandon Cooks is better than people think, man. I think he was also a first rounder. He's had like top, wide receiver 1 finishes in almost every single year. Last year was just an off year with his concussions, and I think he's better than people think. It's just hard because Hopkins, was pretty much like 95% of his targets. The guy averaged 150 targets for a reason, and Watson threw him all those balls. So I just don't know, how efficient the other wide receivers can be with those targets as Hopkins was. That's my only thing.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think his improvement will definitely be just straight up from the run game. His passing will definitely come down, unless Will Fuller and Cooks stay healthy.
If Fuller's does remarkable and doesn't get injured, and Cooks is who he has been, then there's potential. Right. Full potential.
He's just very talented. Our consensus ranking number 8, Matt Ryan. Boris, you have him at 6. I have him at 8. Finished as the quarterback at 11th. He's finished as a top 2 fantasy quarterback in 2 of his past 4 seasons. This guy just likes to flip-flop every year to good, to bad, to good, to bad, to good, to bad. But actually, shout out Fantasy Footballers again. Jason was talking about how, although yes, it's been, 1 year he's amazing, 1 year's bad, 1 year's amazing, 1 year's bad, but that actually translates literally to offensive coordinator changes.
I was literally gonna say this.
Last year was his first year as the offensive coordinator, and that happened 2 years prior. So we should see a way better improvement this year. They attempt the most passes in the year. He attempted 600 passes each of his past 2 seasons. Ryan has shown signs of decline, though. Last year provided his lowest yards per attempt since 2013. He has finished 2 of the past 3 years and 5 of the past 7 shy of his career 4.7% touchdown rate. He led the league in completions in 2019 despite missing a game. Ryan plays in a pass-friendly offense that replaced Austin Hooper with Hayden Hurst and upgraded at least slightly from Devontae Freeman to Todd Gurley. So just going to depend on Todd Gurley staying safe. Going to depend on, healthy Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley taking that next leap, Hayden Hurst being what Austin Hooper was. But he's definitely a safe guy. I had him last year. He was very consistent, safe. I definitely like Matt Ryan a lot this year. Boris, you have him at the highest 6. What's up with you?
Yeah, 6 is my favorite number. I like Matty Ice. 8 out of 12 seasons, he had 20 points or more. 7 out of 12 seasons, he had a completion rate of 66% or higher. He's only missed 3 games, which included 1 last year, only 2 in 2019. He's had 616 attempts, 66%, a completion rate, 4,466 yards, 26 TDs, 14 interceptions last year. He's just a monster, man. He also attempts some rushing yards here and there. Like he's not timid about that. And I think, like we said, man, last year, I still have everybody else, the same system. Now, they're a little more familiar. We know what he can do when they're familiar. And if Hayden Hurst, my thing is Hayden Hurst. If Hayden Hurst can be that play on the red zone, can get those catches, at least some of what Austin Hooper did, I think watch out, man. I think he's always slept on, man. Every single year.
Yeah, like I said, when we were going through the divisional stuff.
And he wants to win that title, man, bro. He's wanted to win for a while.
Right. It's wild that they, they did get close, then gave up that lead. Very sad. But our consensus ranking number 9, Tom Brady. Boris, you have him at 9. I have him at 9 as well. Finished as the quarterback 12. Said he wants to play until he's 50.
Is he 50 yet?
For the first time in 21 seasons, TB12, the GOAT, or the previous GOAT, now that Mahomes is there, will wear a new uniform after signing as a free agent with Tampa Bay and leaving New England.
Yes, sir.
Brady now has one of the best receiving corps with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and the return of Rob Gronkowski, as well as rookie Tyler Johnson and Bruce Arians should allow Brady to make plays.
And Scotty Miller.
He's led the Patriots to 9 Super Bowls and won 6 of them. Listen, this guy's great. We all know it. He's actually going to a better team with upgraded wide receiver corps.
With probably a system that's like, yeah, Brady, you want to throw? Go for it.
Go for it, buddy.
Do what you want.
Not really good running back there, solidified. Brady can eat this year. I honestly think if it goes in the right way, he could be top 2, top 3 quarterback this year. But reality, I don't think it's going to go there. But
yeah, just the new system. As good as you are, as amazing as you are, it still takes time, especially with COVID. It's a little harder to get, your routes run, to get, a perfect route run, to know where every play is. What?
Wait, with COVID?
No, I'm saying with COVID, it's hard. It's harder.
Oh, you're saying with the off season, right.
Right. It's just no off season, no preseason. It's just much harder for him to do it, but he's definitely capable of doing it. He's a monster. It's just a lot of question marks, man. And he has the third most single season passing yards with 5,235, only behind Payne and Breeze, and he's super very little away from Breeze and very little away from Payton. So he also wants to get a lot of those titles and finish his career off with probably, knowing him, he probably wants to win all of them. So he wants to do well, and you know how much he wants to win a title. So he's never going to give up, never surrender.
Yeah, and this guy's coming off of 11 seasons, averaging at least 20 points per game.
Right.
Which is good. He's a very safe, reliable dude to grab. You might be a little bit unhappy with him. Potentially, I could see it going that way, but I think he'll be pretty safe. And he has some stealing he offers there. Our last consensus ranking number 10 quarterback, Carson Wentz. Boris, you have him at 10. I have him at 13. Finished as the quarterback 9. Wentz made it through 16 games in 2019 for the first time since his rookie year in
Good
2016.
job, Carson. Let's go.
Hopefully the injury-prone label is behind him and he can be considered as a number 1 fantasy quarterback again. We don't know what's up with Alshon Jeffrey. I mean, he's going to be out for at least the beginning of the season. The Eagles added Rager, who should be a great addition, traded for Marquise Goodwin. These guys will hopefully help Wentz as well as Ertz, as well as Goddard, Deshaun Jackson, Sanders, Scott. They have a great team, amazing O-line. Wentz has averaged 21 fantasy points per game last year, including 7 games with at least 23 points. He led an injury-depleted Eagles team to the NFC East crown, only to suffer a concussion in the Eagles wildcard round, and then Foles went to win a Super Bowl. So this guy's a beast. Some rushing floor there. I like him a lot. And this is why I say you don't have to grab one of those top 6 quarterbacks if you can grab a guy like Wentz, a guy like Roethlisberger, Stafford, Tom Brady later in the rounds. I think the point per game differential won't be as much as it will be compared to the wide receiver running back you grab in there from.
Especially the running backs.
Yeah, especially the running back.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, he averaged over 21 points per game in the last 3 years. Last year, 607 attempts. Yikes, 64% completion rate, over 4,000 yards, 27 TDs, only 7 interceptions, and he also had 62 attempts running it for 242 yards and 1 TD. So maybe the 1 TD can go up a little. I just think that this was his first year playing a full season. I think there's still a decent amount of weapons there, even without Jeffrey. If Deshaun can stay healthy with their core, Rager pulls his weight, and What's the homie that I got in some leagues that I was talking about to play the slot?
Greg Ward.
Greg Ward. I've heard a lot of good things about him. And
he's still in the league, huh?
Yeah, Hightower. Even Quez. That's a pretty dope name. There's just a lot of little, they've done a lot with less. And don't forget they have the one of the 2 best tight ends, in the game as duo combos. I just like his play, man.
Yeah, definitely has the team around him. Well, that was our top 10 consensus quarterback rankings. We are the Fantasy Football Brothers. If you enjoyed the video, leave us a like, comment, subscribe. Please support Boris in his attempt to quit nicotine smoking. Don't be too mean in the comments. Leave us a review. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you, guys. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you for joining the Fantasy Football Brothers for another episode. Visit our website at thefantasyfootballbrothers.com. Check us out on social media at the Fantasy Football Brothers. See you next time.